What's going on, everyone? It's Irish Shadow, and I'm bringing you another Until Dawn video. This time I'm going to show you every possible way to kill every character in Until Dawn. And yeah, this is basically going to be a kill compilation. So just like in the other games, I'm basically going to give you all the other video. I'm going to give you all the chapters and basically what you have to do in order to get everyone to die in any way possible. Now, you can do these in any fashion you want. Basically, when you get to a point where you know someone can die, you can have them die that way at that point, or you can save them till like the very end and then just blow them up in the lodge. But yeah, there's certain ways, there's certain points where you have to do certain things in order to make bad things happen later on, which I will explain when those points come up. But you also get a few trophies for killing people specific ways. I'm going to show you how to do those. They will be actually highlighted on the screen when those points come up. But yeah, I think it's time to get started. Okay, so starting with Josh. I already explained this in the survival video, but remember how I told you about that book that you're supposed to pick up? It's right at the edge of that waterfall, or that water wheel. Well, as you can see, I am skipping right past it. I did not pick it up. I did not even go over to that area, so I basically, once you open this door, you've basically sealed Josh's fate. As you can see, Hannah's lurking. But now when you're bringing Josh back, you're going to see that Wendigo Hannah is going to come out of the water. And if you did not read the book, you just fucked Josh pretty bad. And that's the only way you can kill Josh. Moving on to Jess. There are a few ways to kill Jess. One is if in chapter 4, when you're playing as Chris, if you take the long route and or mess up a lot of QuickTime events, you'll eventually catch up to where Jess should be lying. But unfortunately, she's not there, and then her body is just going to fall to the floor, and as you can see, her jaw has been forcefully removed. So, if you want to kill her that way, you can. Either way, she's going to lose her jaw regardless of how she dies. And chapter 10, you have to hide when you're hiding from the Wendigo with Matt, if he's still alive at this point. And either you fail the standstill moment, or you fail to catch Jess during the QuickTime event. Like I said, it's going to come right back, and you're actually going to witness her getting her fucking jaw ripped off, which is kind of like a what the fuck moment, but funny nonetheless. Speaking of Matt, there are several ways that Matt can die in this game. If you attack the alpha elk with the axe, like I said, the others will actually push you towards the cliff. Now, depending on whether you want to save him or let him die, just either land the QuickTime events or fail them. If you want to save him, you gotta land them. If you don't, just fail them and he falls down, gets his head imploded by a rock. But also, if you failed that QuickTime event with Jess, the Wendigo, right after he kills Jess, is going to come back and basically, yeah, smash your face. Now, in chapter 6, when you're given the choice to either save Emily or jump to safety, if you're going to kill Matt, you'll want to either to if you want to kill Matt here, you got to try to save save Emily twice. If you save Emily twice, the tower will actually fall. Emily will go down into the mines deeper, and Matt will land on a lower platform, which will cost him his life in the long run. And after he wakes up, it's literally 20 seconds later. You're grabbed by, at this point, an unknown being, and unless you have the flare gun, which I don't know how to give Matt the flare gun, because every time I hand it to Matt, he shoots it instantly. You are going to be put on a meat hook, chin first. It's pretty brutal, but at the same time, it's kind of cool. But moving on to Emily. This is every way I've been able to get Emily to die. So, like, the obvious, failing a bunch of quick time events will allow the Wendigo to slowly but surely catch up to her. Choosing to go right here will give you this jump scare, which means it's like basically right up your ass. And then there's going to be a point where she runs and hides in an elevator. If you pull the lever, she is going to have to do the standstill moment. If you fail the standstill moment, you're still going to live. It's just that thing is going to be right behind you, and you don't have very much error to fuck up anymore. So as you'll see, when she gets to the top of the elevator shaft, Creeper is going to be like peeking through the boards at her, and that's just if you fail it, it's going to reach for you. It's not going to kill you, but at this point, if you don't pull the chain, or you don't move any of these barrels, she's going to jump in front of you, grab you by the head, and then proceed to stick her bag lady thumbnails in your fucking eyes, and that's the end of Emily for the first part. Now, same chapter, when you're on the conveyor, you have the choice of jumping off or staying on. Now, the thing is, if you want to kill her another way, just have her stay on. Once you get to the end of the conveyor, there's going to be the rock crusher. Fail the quick time event, and then fail the recovery quick time event, which she'll just, yeah. It's anticlimactic, but, you know, there's better ways to do it. Now, in Chapter 8, when Mike freaks out about Emily's bite, he's going to hold a gun to her. Now, for the sake of getting a trophy, if you're into that kind of thing, I know I am, you want to shoot Emily here. So basically keep her alive until this point, and then just shoot her, because you get a trophy that's called the Exorcism of Emily. And yeah, that's basically all you need to do. And that's like the last part you can kill her at. Now, moving on to Ashley. Despite what you would think, if in Chapter 4, if you even choose, as you will see here, I will demonstrate it, I am literally trying to save Josh here. So I'm sending the saw to Ashley, and it's immediately switching to Josh. So there's no actual way that you can actually kill Ashley here. And I did about like 4.5 playthroughs of this game before I noticed there was a chapter select. So I basically worked out every angle, and I'll show you what you can do to kill people and what you can't do. So in Chapter 9, when they're in the sewers trying to catch up with Mike, you're going to hear that voice, and if you want to investigate the voice. Now, this is going to lead to possibly 2 deaths if you choose it to. So yeah, continue down this little hallway here, or this little caves tunnel, trail, whatever you want to call it. I don't give a fuck. You'll come to the little trap door in the floor. You're gonna hear Jess's voice coming from it. It's actually the actress who voices Jess. Her voice is actually coming from there. But you will actually get a trophy if you open the trap door. The unfortunate thing is Ashley is gonna get a little bit of a headache. You get a jump scare and just twists her head off, and yeah, that's like the first chance you get to kill Ashley. Now there is another way to kill Ashley and Emily, Mike, and that's it. And that's basically if a little bit later. Okay, moving on to Chris. Now in chapter 8, when you're facing off these Wendigos with the shotgun, this is immediately after the stranger flamethrower guy. He dies. The Wendigos are going to be chasing Chris. You have the option to either shoot all the Wendigos, or you can just let one of the Wendigos grab him, and basically they will take his head off. Now, depending on how close you are to the door, I'm not sure about this, but if you're like close to the lodge, the Wendigo will rip off Chris's head, and then pretty much in the next scene they will throw it at the door, basically showing Ashley that it's like, yeah, taste of things to come. And like, that's the first way that you can kill Chris. Now, in chapter 6, you'll actually want to shoot Ashley if you want to get a trophy, because this will actually give you a trophy now for shooting her, and it will give you one later because of the negative effect. So you'll basically want to shoot Ashley here, and then right back at chapter 8, if you shoot all the Wendigos, Chris will actually run up to the door, and it will basically give you this sequence where Ashley will not let Chris into the lodge because of the events of chapter 6. And this will give you a trophy called Ashley Snaps. So yeah, Chris gets killed there, and then you have to wait a little bit longer, like basically after Mike leaves the others in the basement to go back to the insane asylum. But yeah, you will get the trophy at that point. In chapter 9, there's going to be a point where you're in the tunnel to the sanitarium. Now, if you convince Chris to stay behind and rest a little bit, and then eventually catch up later, he'll do that. But depending on what you do, like, it'll basically have you control Ashley and then control Chris a little bit later. But yeah, if you have Chris wait here a little bit, as you see, Ashley will leave him little directions on, like, little arrows pointing out which way they went. And then at this point, that's where you actually get you actually have to do the trapdoor kill with Ashley, because then right after that you'll take control of Chris, and then Chris is gonna go down the same path that the others took. And basically, at this point, you just want to do the same thing that you did with Ashley. And yeah, you'll come to the exact same area where uh, Chris will actually hear the voice now. And if you investigate the voice again, this time with Chris, not only will Chris the find Ashley's bloody hat, he is going to die in the exact same spot. And this is your last chance to actually kill Chris. So yeah, just wander down the path, and when you get to the room here, you're gonna notice he's definitely gonna notice that there's Ashley's hat on the floor, and there's a blood trail going towards the trap door. So yeah, basically once he sees the hat, it's already too late for him at this point. So unless you bypass the trapdoor, but if you open the trapdoor, guess what? There's absolutely nothing in the trapdoor, but when he puts it down, he's gonna get his head ripped off like he did in pretty much every other death. Okay, so here we are at the final scene. Like I explained earlier, there is no actual way to have either Sam or Mike die up until this point. It's 100% mandatory that they get here. Like I said, I had Mike basically be attacked by every Wendigo in the insane asylum, and the wolf basically defended him up until the point where he died and escaped the asylum. There's a point in Sam's story where she's running around in a towel away from the masked Josh. Now, even if you get caught, like, she doesn't die. She basically wakes up in the area where she reunites with Mike, and she's basically strapped to a chair. So there's really no way to have either of them die before this point. So I'm basically just going to show you how to kill off the final two survivors. So let's go. Now, if you remember from my last video, there are certain times when you have to do quick time events or standstill events here. Now, I'm gonna basically, for the long run, all you have to do is fail to do either. Not really much to say, really, at this point. Just fuck up here. Make sure you don't run to the switch, because you want to make sure that, first off, Mike gets subdued by Hannah, which basically means he is taken out of commission, but he's still technically alive. But you actually want Sam to die first. So yeah, basically they go down to the film room, open up the door, Wendy comes in, the Wendys come in, and then they run up to the living room area, and that's when all the shit will happen. Now, oh, what the, okay. They're gonna come running up here, and Hannah's gonna be on the chandelier, which is a really fucking weird chandelier, by the way. It's like a orb or something. And yeah, Hannah is gonna be looking for them. If you fail, it's gonna jump and everyone's gonna scurry around. Mike is gonna get thrown over there. And then the other Wendigo will show up and Hannah will lay the smackdown on them, obviously. Throws the other one into the fireplace, breaks the gas line, and at this point, Mike is pretty much fucked. Because he's supposed to get to the light bulb, but he is not able to. So, at this point, Sam has to actually try to get to the light bulb. That is, unless okay, they're still dancing with each other, and Hannah gives him a fatality. When she creaks the floor, you have to stand still. If you don't, Sam is gonna get pretty much fisted by Hannah. It's not as hot as it sounds, which means Sam is dead. This will lead Mike to break the light bulb, but unfortunately, with no one to distract Hannah, she is going to get pretty mad, pick him up, smack him around, throw him into the pillar, and he is just going to pull out his lighter and sacrifice himself to kill all the Wendigo. And that is how you kill everyone in Until Dawn. And by doing this, you actually get a trophy for the game called "This is the End." So yeah, that's pretty much it for Until Dawn. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you again with something.
You have gone too far now. Don't you see? Huh? Don't you see that this torture porn has gone too far? Huh? Now what gives you the right to play God in these people's lives? What makes you so special then? Huh? You're sick! You're a sick fuck! Now what the hell have you done for them? Huh? What the hell have you done to them? Psychopath.
Right, still. Well, can't tie them up if they're just wiggle around.
Gosh, dude!
I need me a little wiggle room, huh?